Welcome back to the podcast. We are talking about a very exciting topic today, which is turning leads into sales. The number one thing people talk about where they say, my leads is the problem. My sales is the problem. Now, we're going to be debunking that today. We're going to be going through and figuring out who is actually at fault. Is it your leads department or is it your sales team that is costing you the money? What we are going to be going through today, though, is the basic transitions around how can we go from understanding how should we best handle the lead and turn them into sale. And pretty much what's the best practice that we've seen as an organization, working with realistically over 140 companies over the last sort of year and a half in lead, basically just lead marketing and handing them over to sales teams, and then measuring and tracking the conversion on from there. Now, in the last 12 months, we've generated over 300,000 leads, and we don't count that on a monthly basis, but it's sort of an estimate over the last 12 months of what we generated. Realistically, it's probably a lot more than that, but stay modest, I guess. For those of you who don't know, I'm Jackson Earng, your host, and of course, this is the Earng Media Podcast. And for those of you who don't know, we are a lead generation agency that's starting to help build a little bit more education online to help people get a bit better at their own lead generation or understand the key fundamentals that they need to have structured in their business around their leads. As we know, and as we believe, the core fundamental of any successful business is having a very strong lead generation magnet. Something that's going to allow you to get consistency on the front end of your business. The core and the key thing around a successful business is they know how to find new business. And if you can find new business consistently, you'll never have a problem making money on the back end. This podcast is catered to everyone, from your salesperson, your marketer, to your social media manager, to obviously the CEO and the management team, which is pretty much who we work mostly with. Now, we are pretty much a handed over kind of model. You tell us what you kind of want, and we pretty much build out the exact model in order to supply those leads to your sales team. But in today's episode, we're going to be going through exactly what are the core structure that we've seen work the best for being able to generate leads and then to be able to hand those leads over to the sales team. Guys, I'm going to keep this as efficient as possible in today's episode, and hopefully you can learn something extremely valuable and make sure that you're improving your conversion rates. Now, let's talk about what it is, the key restrictions around converting a lead into a sale. One of the biggest restrictions around it, especially because we generate in a digital format, digital leads can have a really, really hard time with the fact that there's higher no answer rates, there's higher people putting in wrong data, higher people fishing for info, because when they come across your business, a lot of the time, they're not in the intent to buy what your service is. They're not inquiring about it. We're trying to push shit up a hill, hook them in, gather them, nurture them a little bit, and then we're trying to sell them. So realistically, one of the biggest pain points that people have around any sort of Facebook digital, Instagram digital lead, or any other social platform is that people are just not interested. And we find that is a very tough conversation to have. And it's a lot of the time, it's people that have worked with another agency or they're running campaigns themselves at the moment. And they're like, I just can't get over this hurdle. Now, that's cool because we can help you move past that. We've had it with our clients as well. For full transparency, there's no way that our clients haven't told us, we're struggling with the fact that a lot of people they're just fishing for info. But there's key things that we can then start to implement to make that less of the percentage of leads. All right. Now, the one thing here and the most important thing for your sales side is gather the info you need from the lead department. Now, if that means that you need to know someone's financial structures, ask the strategic questions on the forms and the gathering of the info. If you need to understand their business structure and their profits and their this and their that, ask it at that stage where you're collecting their info. If that means that you get less leads, then that's the price you have to pay for being more efficient and having a higher conversion. Now, let me tell you what asking more strategic questions will do. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'm basically saying when you do get the inquiry for it, if you're in getting these leads through direct inquiry, if you're getting them through an ebook or some sort of lead magnet, or even if you're getting them through like a referral link or somewhere on your website, or they're booking a Calendly, wherever it is you get your leads, If you're able to ask strategic multiple choice questions that allows you to funnel what's going to qualify and what's not, that's going to be the fastest way for you to efficiently get a higher conversion, because you're able to filter out the shit that just doesn't need to be contacted, which means your team are going to be more efficient and they can spend more time on the leads that actually qualify. Okay, so we're not saying that you got better leads or you're getting a better price lead because now you're just qualifying out the shit and you're just removing it without calling it. What we're saying is that we're able to spend more time. We're being more efficient, which means if we up the budgets, we know that our sales team are actually calling the people that will convert, right? There's a certain percentage of people that inquire about your whatever it is that are never going to convert. They're never going to even pick up the phone. So if we can filter those people out without you having to do the actual calling, we know that we're making your business more efficient. Okay? Now, when it comes back as an overview of that, making sure that those questions are added to your forms extremely strategically is one of the most important things to making sure that then you have enough info on the sales call. If we have enough info on the sales call, we can then start to work forward on hitting those pain points earlier. If I know what your goal is in a financial setting and you say, I want more diversity in my property portfolio, or I want more diversity in my investing portfolio, as a financial planner could then go, great, what is it about that's important to you? Now that simple question there is going to get that lead in the first 60 seconds of that call, answering some really deep objection handling questions. They're going to be starting to give you the juice that you're going to be able to use against them later on in that call and work with them to actually make sure that what you're helping them do is the right thing. So as we go, if we can ask the right questions, that's going to open the door for you to have the info to then also touch on a much stronger pain point much sooner. We're no longer going to be answering calls going, oh, I saw you inquired on Facebook. If you ever say that, if any of your sales team ever say that, you need to put them through training straight away. The key with this is the answering of the call is a really big way on how we frame the next part of the conversation. The way we want to be answering those calls is stating, you put your details in inquiring about this. What made you interested? Now, the fact that we state that, you put your details in on exactly this, on this date, to find out more about this, what made you take an interest in that? That is going to mean that you're not going to then have people say to you, I don't remember that, I apply for hundreds of things, rada. It makes you look educated, it makes you look like you're onto the point, it makes you look like you understand the numbers and the stats. If you call them and you go, oh, I think you inquired on Facebook, you look like a bit of a muppet to start off with. So you want to be able to know the facts. I obviously have exactly the steps right here. I know exactly how you inquired, I know where you inquired, and I want to find out exactly why you took an interest. When you get and ask that and frame that question, the response typically can have 15 to 20 seconds of, oh yeah, let me remember. Oh yeah, got it, right? That's cool if that happens. But that's the first thing that then after that, the next 45 seconds of that call is going to be very, very fast-tracked into the pain point that you're looking to get from them, which is going to get them to share and explain realistically why they made the inquiry. Okay? All right. The next part around this is the structure of the call and the intent of the call. If you don't have your sales team up and running yet and you're still building it, even if you do have it up and running, you want to make sure that you've got your team structured properly for their efficiencies. Now, the way that we've seen this work best, and I'm only going to share the best example that we've ever seen this work for, is what's called the triage method. Now, the triage method is where we have multiple bookers booking for a select few consultants or closers per se. Now, the reason why we do it like this is because the closers can get really good at closing and the bookers can get really good at building up the relationship for that closer, or we can get those bookers to really cut through the shit. Now, the cutting through the shit is something that if they're switching between the two roles, they're going to be average at both. When they do the booking, they're going to be demotivated. When they do the consultancy, they're going to do a low conversion rate then. So we want to put a divider down the middle of the business, and we want to go, if you really want to maximize the most, and this comes because a lot of lead gen that we do is around volume. And if you're getting 300, 400 leads a week, you need to get through those leads very quickly. So having a designated team that can get through those leads and hit the same conversation every single day is going to allow you to build motivators inside of that call that allows them to enjoy the call. If they get to jump from the closing calls back to the booking calls, they're going to have a really tough time with finding the motivation to find the passion and be good at actually be booking. So the triage call is around being able to find that balance and be able to go, okay, my bookers are going to be able to book at a high percentage for the closers, and the closers can specialize at closing at a high percentage. Okay. Now, the triage method has been used by many of our clients, and it's one of the ones that we push a lot to them, so that way they can have efficiencies built out in their business and start to track performance based on each individual team and the conversion from each individual team member. We can start to work out what does it cost us to get a booking, as well as then for every booking, how many bookings do we need to get a conversion, which gives us a really good balance in the business that you don't have irreplaceable staff. If someone's doing the whole department area from initially contacting the lead and then closing the lead and handing that over to the admin team to start servicing, we're in a business problem because our sales team are doing every single step of the run. So the triage method has worked extremely well for a lot of our clients to be able to get a lot more efficiency built in their business. And with pairing that with a high volume model that allows you to get a lot more leads, that makes it a lot easier to get really good at converting those leads. Now, just to recap to the start of the session where we spoke about making sure that you have better qualifying questions on your forms, that's the first thing you can do right now to go and make sure that whoever's calling on your team, even if it's yourself, that you're asking the right questions to be able to qualify what conversation am I having with this person? Because if you can qualify that in the first 60 seconds of the call and you can get them to explain their pain point much faster, you're going to be able to get your calls a lot more efficient and a lot more converted. Okay, so we don't want you to look like an idiot when you call and go, what was you looking for? We want you to be able to go in with intent. We want to go in strong and be able to go, you inquired about this, I've got the solution, and here we go. So it's about getting that understanding that you can come into that call with a lot more info and a lot more, I know the industry, I know the knowledge, and that allows you to also get a little bit of a fresh update on your skills for that particular client. Every time these people answer these 3 questions, this is the style of call we have. And that also, as I said, allows you to filter out people that don't qualify. For example, if you have someone that doesn't qualify financially, doesn't qualify because they want to use your product for the wrong reasons, we can obviously filter them out from the start, save you ever having to call them, which means you're not wasting time, which at the end of the day, that's also saving your business money as well. So I hope this video and this episode was super valuable to getting a little bit of an understanding as to the basic structures and changes you can make to increase your sales conversion based on a high volume lead team or sales team. So if you enjoyed this, I look forward to seeing you in the next episodes. Otherwise, of course, if you do ever want to talk about getting higher volumes of leads into your business, then you can always contact our team through our website at earngmedia.com. Otherwise, reach out to us on socials, and one of our team members will be able to help guide you through figuring out what lead magnet is going to be able to generate you a very high quality and a high volume of leads at a low rate. So if you enjoyed this video, look forward to seeing you in the next one.